Hi everyone, I'm Autistic Ange. This is a podcast for adults who recently found out they're autistic and are looking for other autistic people like them. This is a completely unplanned episode. So I'm probably going to sound like I'm all over the place, but I need to get the stuff out of my head because I'm super anxious right now, and I'm hoping that once I just word vomit all of this stuff, I'll feel a little bit better. So I went to bed at 4 a.m. and I woke up at 8. My typical time for going to bed is 3 or 4 in the morning, and then on my own I usually wake up around 11 or so, 10, 11 most days. But today my brain was nope, you're gonna get up at 8 o'clock and you're gonna stay awake. And I just was laying there and I'm like, oh my God, I just want to go back to sleep. But how when you're so tired, you need to go back to sleep because you're not done sleeping yet. But your brain's just nope, let's go do something. So I got up and I was like, well, I don't have any work to do, so let me take advantage of this free time and catch up on chores and stuff like that. So that's what I did. And, I don't mind doing that. I like cleaning up. I like making the house feel cozy. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, if you hear buzzing in the background, this time it's not a lawnmower. It's somebody cutting our tree down, which is kind of what this episode's going to be about, and my anxiety about that. So, once again, technology, nope, not good at it. Don't know how to edit sound. And, let me just explain, too. I don't know what the fuck I did earlier, but I somehow deleted an episode that was already published, and I don't know how I did that, and so I had to look up shit online, figure out how do I get this episode back, it's got to be somewhere, and I found it, and I figured out how to put it back up, but that in itself stressed me out because I get very, very, I have a short fuse when it comes to technology. It frustrates me so much. So yeah, so then I had done an episode then and published after I figured out how to put the other one back up. So yeah, I was feeling super productive, and, I have this unexpected free time. Let me enjoy it now that all my tasks are done for right now. So, I had put on the podcast. I was getting ready to sit down and listen to it and color or work on some stuff. And, then somebody came to the door. So let me back up from that. So we've got this tree in between our house and the neighbors out back. It's ginormous. And a few years ago, there was this really bad storm, and a branch fell right onto a section of our fence. And at the time, we were renting the house from our landlord, who is really our friend. So she, fixed it, the fence and everything or whatever, and then paid somebody to come and cut half of the tree down, the half that was hanging over the backyard kind of thing. I thought it was weird that she didn't pay for just the whole tree to come down, but who was I to say anything, so she did that. And then we bought the house last year. And then a couple of months ago, there was another storm, and another big branch fell on the half that is left. This is a really tall tree. And from what my wife said, the way that the branch fell, it was going to hit the neighbor's car if the car had been there in the driveway. And thank goodness there was no car. So my wife, being the responsible person she is, a couple weeks ago, she's like, we have to get this tree cut down, because I don't want to have to worry about damaging the neighbor's house or their car because of this tree, and how expensive all that's going to be and everything. And, in my mind, I'm that is not a fun thing to spend money on. Cutting a tree down, that's a lot of money. So but in my mind, a lot of money was maybe $500 to $1,000. I have no idea what the going rate is for cutting trees down. I'm very clueless about many, many things like that. So, she had somebody come over to give her a quote, look at the tree. And of course, like, I stayed inside because, people, I don't do that. And he gave us a quote of $2,300, but she talked him down to $2,000. And I mean, to me, I was like, that's a lot of money for a tree. Like, are we being ripped off? And we're not. I guess that's, all the work involved and everything. So I learned something there. So I was like, okay, fine. Like, yeah, you're right. I don't want to have to deal with, like, pissing the neighbors off because, like, we could have cut this tree down and we didn't. So, all right. So that was taken care of. So he was like, oh, we'll come by like Monday or whatever, like in a few days to start the process, of cutting the tree down. And then we didn't hear from him, and it's been raining on and off. So you can't really do a whole lot out there in the rain when you're cutting a tree down. But I thought that he would at least text and be like, hey, this is like where we're aiming for now, as far as like what day we're going to try to come over and take this tree down. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not his fault it was raining, but like, just let us know that you haven't forgotten about us, kind of thing. And so we didn't get that. And I was like, these shady motherfuckers, because I don't know, for context, like, our friend, or former landlord, but she's our friend, she would always, like, she's in her 70s, so she's an older friend, but she would pay people to come do like landscaping or like, plowing her driveway in the winter, all kinds of stuff. And I swear I don't know where she finds these people, because like she'll tell us, oh, I called this person to come do this thing, and they didn't show up and didn't contact me. And then they would show up 2 days later randomly and then do the work. And I'm thinking, like, that's not how a business transaction goes. Like, you show up when you say you're gonna show up, or if you can't, you call, And so, like, this happened multiple times, and I was always like, why doesn't she just, like, really do her research and read reviews and, like, find, like, companies or people that know what the fuck they're doing? I don't know. I just thought that was weird. So I thought it was the same thing. I thought that was the same thing that was happening with this tree person. And then I was like, I caught myself having thoughts of like, damn it, like I should have looked for the tree person, because I would have read reviews. I would have seen if they were reliable or not. And she just found someone and, went with that. And there's nothing wrong with what she did. She knows what she's doing. I just don't like wishy-washy types of people, But anyways, so like we had gone and gotten the $2,000 out, sent in an envelope in the house, like waiting for them to show up, and they never did. So we gave up and figured once we get some time, we'll start looking for another tree person. And so fast forward to like today, where I've done with my chores, gonna sit down, gonna relax, enjoy this free time. My wife isn't home. I got the house to myself. It's great. And then immediately there was like somebody rang the doorbell, came to the door, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? And so, and did I say this before? I don't know. But like, I had seen the guy pull up down the road. I didn't think he was here for us. I didn't know what he was doing, but like I shut the door because I didn't want to have to hear all the noise. But then, so that's why I answered it, because I was like, maybe, is he here for us? I don't know. And so I figured out who it was. It was somebody from that company, but it wasn't the guy that my wife talked to. So I had to take him out back, show him the tree. I just immediately had like all this anxiety, because I can't ignore this person. We're paying them to like cut this tree down, but like now they show up. Like I had no warning. Like, what the fuck? You just show up like that? Like, shouldn't you call first or something? Or text or whatever? I don't know. But I went around back with this dude, showed him the tree. He was like asking me some questions about like, and like I don't know the answers to a lot of questions that are asked about like technology or manual labor, tree cutting things. Tools. I don't know. I'm not the person to ask. And so, like, then, on top of feeling anxious, I'm like, man, I just sound like a fucking idiot. He's probably like, who the hell is this person? Doesn't know what they're talking about. So, yeah. So then we go from one person to three because two more showed up with more trucks and more tools. And they were like, we're going to start this today, but, like, it's been raining here and there, so that we might, like, piece it apart and do it over the next 2 or 3 days, maybe, depending on how the weather works with us. And I was like, okay. So then I'm like, do you need anything from me? Like, do you need water or something? And the guy's like, no, we're pretty self-sufficient, so, like, we won't bother you with anything. And I was like, oh, all right. So yeah, so I come back inside, and, like, I was just trying to calm down, because it's like I was out there for like 15 minutes. To an ordinary person, this isn't even an issue. Or even to an ordinary, just, oh my God, this isn't even an issue for a lot of people. Like, all these thoughts go through my head, like, why am I like this? Like, why do I, like, not know how to talk when I'm feeling anxious? I'm sorry for all these pauses. That's how I talk when I'm feeling not the greatest. So yeah, so then I come back in, right? They said they were going to start. And I call my wife, and I'm like, oh my God, you'll never guess who showed up. And then I explained everything to her, and she's like, oh, I think she asked, like, did you ask them to, like, did they ask if we were going to take, like, the fence section down that's by the tree or something? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, should I ask? Or they didn't mention. I asked if they needed anything from me, and they didn't bring that up. So she was literally going to drive home just to go out and ask them that simple question. I was like, no, I'm not that ridiculous. I'll go ask. And so, like, I think I got an answer, but it wasn't definitive. But I walked away thinking, yeah, they were going to take care of it, but I still wasn't completely sure. So, like, I'm freaking out about that now. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Are they expecting me to go out there and try to take it down? Because I don't know how to do that. So I'm on the phone with her. 2 minutes later, I think I hear somebody knock at the door. I have the inside door, the actual door, shut, and then there's the screen door on the outside, and it sounded like a tap on the screen door, but I was like, nah, that couldn't have been somebody. Like, the doorbell's right there. Why wouldn't they just press the button? And so my wife's like, just go look and see if there's anybody out there. And I'm like, I don't want to. Like, it was just like, I felt like I was being very paranoid. So there's this, like, window section on the very top of the door. So if I, like, stand on my tiptoes, I can see outside. And I did that, and I saw a head. And I was like, fuck, man. So I opened the door, and the guy was like, do you have a Phillips screwdriver that we can use? Because I guess that's what they were going to use on the fence or something like that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Hold on. Let me go get it. So, like, I leave, and I, like, whisper to my mouth, like, what the fuck is a Phillips head screwdriver? Like, I know what it is, but I didn't at the moment because, like, my mind went blank. And she's, like, laughing at me on the phone. And, it is, I guess, kind of funny looking back a little bit, I guess. But it's not that far. It didn't happen that long ago. So I'm still kind of, trying to calm down. But so I go and I find one, and then she's like, well, I don't know if, like, they're going to want just a regular one. Like, what, maybe they were talking about, like, the bigger one, like the powered thingy or whatever, the power drill or whatever she said. And I was like, well, that's not what he said. He just asked for a screwdriver. He didn't say he wanted a big one. Stupid. I know. Like, so then I'm like thinking, oh no, am I going to go show him this thing and he's going to laugh at me because he was expecting something bigger? Like, these are the stupid thoughts that go through my head. Like, it's insanity. But I opened the door, and I was like, are you talking about this dinky little thing or, like, the bigger one? He's like, oh no, that'll work. And he took it, and, like, that was it. He goes, like, it's just so simple. And I catastrophize. And I freak out. And, like, I know that this is, like, an autism thing, because I know it's the whole social issue. Like, I don't like I have a social anxiety. Like, I never am prepared for conversations. I never try, like, I just don't know what to do. I can't even talk now. You know what I mean? Like, can you hear me? Or are you still listening? Anybody click off yet? But yeah, so then, okay, so they're out there starting to cut shit down, and I started recording this episode, and I got 10 minutes into it, and then my wife just comes home randomly, and I had to stop. And thank goodness that she came home, because she was just coming to check in, go talk to the guys, see, like, if there's anything they needed or whatever. Like, I love that she can do stuff like that. She's very handy. Like, she's good with tools. She can build things. So she went and she talked to them, came back in and said everything's, should be fine. Blah, blah, blah. Not to mention that dude said that he didn't need anything from us, but yet they came and asked for screwdrivers. So, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so I really appreciated that she came home to do that. And then that helped calm me down quite a bit. Just the fact that she came home and checked. She only works her job is only 5 minutes away. So, it wasn't that, like, she had some time. So yeah, so she's gone back to work. They're still out there, cutting the tree, obviously. And so, like, then here comes technology. I couldn't figure out how to, okay, so I have 10 minutes. How do I add something to this, like recording? I don't know how to do that. There was no pause button I could see. I got so frustrated. I couldn't figure that out. I'm like, I really have to, like, restart this thing, because I can't figure out how to record something else and then connect the two. Like, it's probably a very, very easy and simple thing, but it's just not for me. So that was just frustrating that I had to, like, start over again. I don't like that I'm like this. It's just, like, how interesting too, because now through the autism lens, I can see, like, what's going on as, like, I'm going through these situations. It's just like, I may know what's happening, but I don't always feel like I have the control I would like to have over, like, my thoughts and my feelings. And so, I am almost 40. I don't think this is going to get better. It would have already. It's like, I have masked, so, like, I should be a pro at this, but I'm not. And yeah, that little, maybe at the most 20 minutes I had to deal with the tree people, I catastrophized it. It's like this huge event. And, like, now I feel thrown off, and I'm like, am I going to get back to feeling like I can relax again and just kind of wind down? Because all this was just them asking questions. They're cutting down a tree, like, it's just very simple things. And I get so worked up over it, because I can do this forever. I'm sure you guys, some of you can relate to that part of it. Like, I will just keep writing the fucking book. Like, I've started a whole series of books, and I'm on the 5th book in my head, because I go through all these things. Like, right now, for example, they're outside working on the tree. What if somebody has to take a shit? Like, and there's no bathroom out there. Like, where do they go to the bathroom? Like, where do these tree people go? Do they ask to come inside the person's house to use the bathroom, which I would assume is a normal thing to do? But then my mind is like, no, I don't want them to come inside to use the bathroom, because are they going to think that the way that I have things, like, are they going to think that, like, I'm messy, or, like, I have weird decorations or something, or, like, is the bathroom too dirty? Just the fact that the presence of a stranger inside the house does not sit well with me, but I'm not going to tell somebody they can't use the bathroom. I'm not a monster. I just don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. So, like, for as long as they're out there, I'm going to be wondering, like, is somebody going to come to the door? What are they going to want? And so then I go through all possibilities now that, the whole screwdriver thing. So I'm like, well, maybe they'll ask about this or ask about that. And then I am like, okay, I'll respond this way. I'll say this. It's just like, I'm scripting, like, big time. And, like, my wife comes home and she looks calm and just, normal as can be. And like, this is like an everyday thing, which it is. And I'm over here freaking out over something so simple. I guess I do feel a little bit better now that I said all this. I don't even know if like a lot of it made sense, but yeah, so like it just basically was a lot of anxiety from an unexpected social interaction and then being asked questions that I didn't know the answers to. And then being asked to go find something that I didn't know where it was, like it's just, and I know this isn't just autistic stuff for me. Like this is like my childhood too, because like my mother, I know I've talked about her before. She's a real bitch. You'll get to hear all about that at some point. But yeah, growing up, it was like, can you go find this? And then I couldn't find the thing. I could never, 9 times out of 10, I couldn't find what I was asked to go look for. And then I got yelled at for it. Like, it's not even my thing that I lost. Why am I getting yelled at because I couldn't find it and you still can't find it? Like, stupid shit. Yeah. Or like her asking me questions about stuff and like I just don't have the answers. Or, like when I was little, she tried teaching me math. Like, do you remember though? I don't know if they still sell them, but it was like those books that was like for little kids, those like math books about like learning how to add and subtract. And there was like cards, like flashcards or something. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but so she thought that she was going to try to teach me math before I like, I guess, started real math in kindergarten, first grade. I don't know how I was young. I don't know exactly what my age was. And I didn't understand it. And like, now I know I have a disability when it comes to like numbers and anything math related. At least that's how I don't know what else to call it other than a disability. Like, I just can't do basic shit when it comes to numbers. So she would try teaching me that stuff and I would never get it. I wouldn't understand it. And then she would start yelling at me like, how much plainer can I explain this to you? And like, I'm just a fucking kid, but I remembered that incident specifically. And then it just kind of like stuff like that just started becoming regular. So it's like, I never felt like I knew anything about anything, like, and it just fucked with me. And then here I am at this age and it comes around now and again. And, I don't know. I don't always know what to do about it, but, I think I've rambled quite a bit. I appreciate if you're still listening. I needed to get this out. I actually feel like 70% better. So this was helpful to me. Maybe you guys can relate to situations like this. Yeah. I mean, I know some of you can. Like, I know that's why I feel a little bit better about this, because I have heard other autistic people talk about stuff like this and like how they freak out when something happens that they weren't expecting. It's like everything just ties into everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, it all just, there's anxiety and then there's uncertainty and then, like there's all the things that come into this. It's just like a very tangled mess in my head right now. And, I'm gonna leave. Leave. What the fuck? I'm going to start recording and go back to what I was doing before somebody came and knocked on my door. So that's all I've got for now. This is just me recording into an app on my phone about this very strange response that I have to social situations. I hope that people relate somehow and maybe have a similar experience to what I had when I heard myself on somebody else's podcast. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.